Good morning, esteemed professionals. It's me, Parcel and all. Hope you're all having a wonderful Wednesday time zone. It is wonderful to see all of you. Hello, Dice. Hello, Moth. Good morning, Yuri. Good morning, Yuri gamers. Protagonist needs your help. She's been trapped in the princess's dungeon and she can't escape her manacles. You need to send her the numbers on your credit card plus those wacky digits on the back so she can avoid being cannibalized in a gay way. Glad I got, yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Don't even worry about it. What did you just click into? You know exactly what you just clicked into, Lena. I don't know what you're talking about. That's the kind of morning we're having today, I guess. Anyway, I have the peach tea that won the Discord poll. Kind of a blast to the past, that one. We haven't had we haven't had peach in a hot second. That's like back in the days of Paradise when we first started streaming, and my capture card would sunder the game every 30 seconds. Peach was in our regular rotation back then, more frequently. But now we have peach tea again, and that's pretty good. Anyway, we got a lot of reading that we're doing this morning. We are continuing It Gets So Lonely here with the third route and then the wrap-up route. So I'm excited to see what the game's got in store for us. And I think, without further ado, I'm gonna get that pulled up and get us swapped over, because we got a game to play. I'm excited about it. Hope you all had a good weekend. I went full sicko mode on Dawn Trail. I had so much fun with it. It is probably one of my favorite expansions at this point, just because of how that back half played out. I will not be discussing it at length here because I know some people have not played it yet, but suffice to say, I had a real good time with it. So it's time to sit here and listen to the title screen again, because it's so fucking good. Alrighty. Is it time to go to the shore, everyone? I think it's time to go to the shore. You played so much Dawn Trail? Good. I know. I was there with you for several of those instances. So, you want to go to the shore? Good idea. What will you discover there, I wonder? This night is far from over, and there are any number of adventures still waiting for you. I hope that you've prepared yourself in advance, and I do hope, for your sake, that you have learned how to swim. I have a sneaking suspicion that this skill might come in handy. You follow the path which leads to the shore, supporting yourself on weary, aching limbs which feel ready to snap at the knee beneath the burden of your weight. You are little more than a wisp of a girl, but you've been running for so very long, and your feet are so very numb. You feel like a great lumbering thing. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope, as you continue to run, that you will find a means to escape your current predicament by the shore. You do not know what awaits you, but you have visions of a harbor extending out to the horizon, cradling a fleet of white-sailed fishing vessels. Surely there will be a kindly fisherman who will be willing to take you far, far away on his boat, to a place where your pursuer will not be able to find you. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly fisherman, a face you have lifted from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. He will have thick, bushy eyebrows and a dark brown beard streaked through with gray. He will look intimidating at a glance, but he will be fiercely protective of you, just like a father. You do not know what fathers are supposed to be like. You are only imagining. Not in my Yuri game, he won't. It is your imagination, however, which grants you the strength needed to keep going. You run to the shore. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you do it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares that lurk within it. It is still cold, though, and still foggy. It is still dark, too. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the vertiginous cliffs, which plummet sharply downwards to an array of sharp, spiky rocks below. You felt, upon escaping the woods, a degree of hope, but the sight of these weather-blasted cliffs gives you pause. You inhale. Then you frown. Now what are you to do? You did not think this plan of yours through very well. Not that you had much in the way of a plan in the first place. There is little in the way of civilization here. The cliffs are far from the village. How far you do not know, and you cannot see any houses. Where exactly will you rest your weary head, and what of your weary legs? Oh, this is a good theme. Fitfully you look around. There is nobody to your east, nor is there anybody to your west. Now, there is no point in looking south. That is the way you came. And when you look to the north, the world falls away from you. The cliffs are too steep to scale, and it is too dark. Naturally, there is not a soul here to help you. You are on your own. You feel so overwhelmed you could very well cry. You do not cry, however. You know that tears have never helped anyone. You got yourself into this mess. Now you need to get yourself out of it. It is with this thought in mind that you inhale a lungful of salty oceanic air. Then you begin your exploration in earnest. You keep away from the edge of the cliffs, afraid that you might slip and take a sudden, unfortunate tumble into the abyss below. You are not as attached to your mortal body as some humans are, but you do not want to die. You still care for yourself, if only a little. And it is this sense of self-preservation which compels you onward. You glance this way and that, depressing the tall grass beneath your shoes as you search for a place of shelter. Surely there must be somewhere. You cannot see any likely-looking settlements, but what is that over yonder? Could that be a roof? Oh, hi, Moomin. You hurry onwards, hope budding anew in your heart, until at long last you reach your destination. There's a house after all out here in the wilds, though it doesn't, at a glance, look very welcoming. The solitary house that you have discovered, not so far from the cliffs, is rather unremarkable. It is so small and squat, you cannot imagine it contains within it more than one floor. You cannot even imagine that it contains much more than one room. Though it is dark, it is not dark enough to mask that the cottage has something of a slant to it. It is leaning listlessly to one side like a drunken sailor. The thatched roof, meanwhile, which tops this dwelling, has certainly seen better days. There is a hole in the thatch. There are several holes, in fact, and parts of it look particularly bare, almost bald. That is rather concerning. Should it rain, you will not be properly protected from the elements. Can you really stay the night in such a place? You have some misgivings. But do your misgivings matter, really, when there is nowhere else to go? It is not as though you have any other options. It is with a sense of defeat, therefore, that you approach the cottage, which sticks out of the earth like a tombstone. Part of you wants to turn back, but you know that would be foolish. The windows of the cottage are dark, but that does not necessarily mean it is empty. It is rather late at night, after all. Whoever lives here, if indeed anybody does live here, might be asleep. You cannot imagine the owners of this cottage will appreciate being roused so very late at night. You cannot let yourself worry too much about these small details, however. Otherwise, you will never get anywhere. You swallow. The taste of the salty sea breeze is pungent in the back of your nostrils. Then you rap the knuckles of your right fist on the door. You rap quietly at first, but you do not hear any resultant shuffling inside the cottage. Perhaps you did not use enough strength. Emboldened, you rap your knuckles on the door for a second time, more loudly this time. You wait a few moments, but still, you cannot hear anything. Perhaps the cottage is unoccupied after all. Sorry, I'm just sitting here with the vocals for a little bit because this is so pretty. I'm gonna rehydrate too. Thank you, Moth. You knock for a third time, then wait. The third time is, as they say, the charm, but for all that, your knocking goes unanswered. Well, nobody can say that you did not try. More intrigued now than anxious, your fingers find the handle of the door. You pull it down, and to your surprise, it yields easily. The door swings back for you as if by magic. It feels almost as if this was preordained. You step foot inside the cottage, which is very dark, and glance around. It is hard to see given the lateness of the hour, but the cottage's interior is about as inspiring as its exterior. Which is to say, not very. Almost. Almost, uh-huh. It is every bit as small and as cramped as you fancied when you observed it from the outside. There are a few cupboards which line the walls, a wood fire which has since been extinguished, and a straw pallet on the floor which must function as a bed. Your search is unsuccessful, however, when it comes to trying to locate other humans. You cannot find another soul. Surely that is to your benefit, though. If nobody else lives here, then you might as well make yourself at home. Or as at home as one can be, I suppose, in a small, cramped cottage such as this, with holes in the roof. You close the door behind you, then approach the straw pallet. Hello, Joey. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. All of a sudden, you feel incredibly weary. The tiredness that assails your limbs is absolute. So intense it overcomes the last of your concerns. You settle down upon the straw pallet, yawning as you do. It is not comfortable, but being able to lie down eases some of your aches and pains. Lying down, even on an uncomfortable makeshift bed such as this one, is better than standing. It is far, far better than running. Your eyelids fall shut, your lashes melting together. And soothed by the sounds of the wind and the distant rolling of the waves, you fall asleep. Then you begin to dream. It is not uncommon, of course, to dream. The best and the worst of us do it, from queens in their castles to peasants sleeping in the straw. Girls' time! Hello, Rose! Welcome, welcome! It is indeed girls' time. Why, who is to say that all you have observed tonight has not, in a sense, been a dream of its own? Feeling somewhat unwell, unfortunately? Heat is messing with you, but other than that, you're okay? Oh no. Hope you're able to stay cool. Would that make your nighttime fancies, then, a dream inside a dream? Perhaps our dreams are empty, hollow things, stacked inside one another like little wooden dolls. Is that not a whimsical thought? How very droll. Your dreams, however, cannot be called whimsical, and neither are they particularly droll. They are not pure fabrications, as dreams sometimes are, fleeting fancies which can never come to pass. Your dreams are of a rather more pernicious sort. In your dreams, you are at the conservatoire, with your red hair tied back into two prim, proper braids. You are walking through the courtyard, clutching your books to your chest as you make your way to the library. Your head is bowed so as not to look at the faces of your passing classmates. You do not want to meet their eyes. These girls with their sensible braids and their sensible shoes are merciless. Aye, aye, hinged girl enthusiasts, you know it. You hunch your shoulders together in this dream of yours, so as not to draw their attention. But alas, it is not enough. You stumble, clumsy thing that you are, and you fall, and just like that, all eyes are upon you. They are staring at you. They are laughing at you. You lay there on the ground by the fountain, your books scattered in your skirt in a woeful state of disarray. Your knee hurts. Is it bleeding? You examine your injured leg, trying not to cry, and as this transpires, you hear a voice. One of your classmates is calling to you. Girls are cruel. Girls are cool. So true. She's acknowledged you. You look up shyly, tears beating in your eyes, at a girl taller than you, and prettier, and much more refined. She extends her hand towards you. Does she mean to help you? It cannot hurt to try, can it? Hesitantly, you reach out to accept her offered aid. Her fingers curl around yours tightly. Perhaps too tightly. Her nails dig into your skin. It hurts. Deftly, the girl pulls you to your feet. Your legs feel weak from your fall, and your knee is still aching, still bleeding. You stumble, feeling out of sorts, but you are not afforded much of an opportunity to gather your bearings. No, the last two routes ended badly, but I have a really good feeling on this one. Listen, 99% of doomed Yuri protagonists stop right before their happy ending. The girl's hands are on your shoulders. She is laughing at you. Then she is pushing you. The sound of the fountain and the running water which drums against its basin is all of a sudden very loud. It is overwhelming. It surrounds you. Then it engulfs you. It is cold as ice. You cannot breathe. The rushing of the water continues, echoing in your eardrums over and over, and then... No. You do not want to remember this. What good will it do? It is in the past, where the past ought to remain. You are never going to go back, not even in your dreams. It is this determination which forces you back into the world of the waking with a start. You gasp like a fish as you sit upright, your eyes unnaturally wide. You feel wearied from a lack of sleep, and with half-lidded eyes you glance about. It is still dark inside your cottage, the sky visible from beyond the windows splashed still with stars. How long were you asleep? You are not sure. Your dream was so very detailed, it really did feel like you had been transported into a different time, into a different place. When you inhale, you can taste rank, fetid water in your mouth. Tentatively, you pat yourself down, your fingers trailing against the front of your uniform. So vivid was your dream, you half expect to find that your clothes are damp. This is not the case, however. You are, in fact, perfectly dry. Well, now what are you to do? Will you go back to sleep? That sounds like the best option available to you. You are very tired, but your senses feel too overwrought all of a sudden for sleep. You do not think you could bear it. On unsteady legs, you rise to your feet, then stand by the window. You look out to the starry sky, and to the pitted moon which hangs amongst them, and you frown. You can hear the wind outdoors howling like an injured animal, and more softly the ebb and flow of the waves as they meet the cliffs. But that is not all. What is that sound? Why, it is almost like singing. The voice is far enough away that you cannot pick out any individual words, nor even individual syllables. But there's a haunting quality to it all. The singer, whoever they are, possesses quite the pretty voice, high and clear like a bell. The song is a melancholy one which stirs your heart. Curiosity takes root inside you, as it did during that fateful day you found that book in the library. Logically, you know you should not go outdoors to seek the source of that singing, but emotionally, that is another matter altogether. You really should have learnt your lesson by now. You should know better than to go sticking your nose into business which does not concern you. But naughty little girls such as you never do learn. You cross the old fisherman's cottage as though in a dream, then reach for the handle of the door. The handle depresses easily enough beneath your grasping fingers, and the door opens with a click. And narrator knows us well. They sure? Narrator knows us very well. The rest of the world yawns before you, framed in the doorway, all of it bathed in moonlight. You thought it was cold inside the old cottage, but it is colder still now that the door is open. An unpleasant wind rushes forth to meet you, knifing mercilessly through the fabric of your uniform. You look across the cold, inhospitable landscape, your fingers clenched into fists at your sides. Then you step out into the unknown. You canvass the cliff face, led by nothing more than that luxurious singing. So haunting and ethereal is this voice, as it hangs on the breeze. It would be enough to send 1,000 ships off to war. You keep walking into the night until you reach the very edge of the cliffs, where they drop downwards into empty air. You ought not to go any further, but the voice has yet to cease. You can still hear it, echoing inside your head. It compels you to act. You look down at the shore, which seems like a dizzying distance away, and out to the ocean, which is breaking against the scattered rocks below. Your eyes narrow with determination. Then you take a step towards the cliff. These cliffs are steep, and the rocks below them are sharp. You can see them glinting in the darkness, their tips jagged like the teeth of hungry predators. The cold wind blows, rocking your hair, and you shudder from it. Your shoes were not built for scaling cliffs, and your heels do not have much in the way of purchase, particularly not when the cliffs are so steep. Clinging to the cliffs is no small feat, yet you are determined to ease yourself down onto the shore, in one piece preferably. The wind is so powerful it feels as though there is something deliberately malicious to it. You wonder, during your descent, if it means to knock you off your perch on purpose, to cast you down to the rocks below. Well, if that is what it wants, then you refuse to give the satisfaction. You can be awfully stubborn at times, and now is one of them. You continue to climb. How long have you been at it now? Until, at long last, your feet meet the shoreline below. You've made it, and you did not sustain too many injuries. Your palms are throbbing, yes, after gripping those rocks, and you might have a few cuts, but your wounds are of a shallow and superficial sort. Things could have been worse. You flex your fingers. They feel uncomfortably numb and cold alongside it. Your skin is prickling, but at least you can still feel discomfort. At least it is still attached to your bones where it ought to be, your vital organs concealed within the hollow cavity of your body. You have a lot to be thankful for. This night has, by and large, been quite successful. There are no longer any obstacles between you and that mysterious voice which lulled you outdoors. Now you must find them. Hello, Vivi Bud. Welcome, welcome. You set off down the shore, on the hunt of the singing voice which has captivated you so. You sidestep sharp, jagged rocks which jut out of the sand like teeth. The rocks which cannot be circumnavigated, meanwhile, you clamber over. All the while, the sound of the sea mingles with that of the singing. It provides an ethereal, haunting backdrop to your exploration, one which further adds to the surreality of your moonlight stroll. The waves lap against the shore, then recede shyly, pushed and pulled by the bleached white moon which hangs overhead. The oceans that you have seen in your library books were all blue as sapphires, but this ocean is different. It is so late at night it looks black instead. The undulating surface of the water reminds you of a mirror, though its depths are even deeper and much more mysterious. A sense of foreboding settles upon you, but you try to quash it. You will not let yourself be afraid. There she is! There's our third girlie! You round a corner, your feet unsteady in their sensible brown shoes, and then, at long last, you see her. There's a woman sitting upon a rock out in the ocean. The woman's eyes are closed and her lips are parted, her expression soulful. She is singing. Her hair, which is fair, flutters around her face like a shroud, which adds to her otherworldly aura. Her eyes might be closed, but her lashes are long and luxuriant like a doll's. Her lips, meanwhile, which are parted in song, are soft, like the freshly plucked petals of a flower. Her face is perfect, as are her proportions. Her neck is tall and slender, like the stem of a flower. You are admiring? So valid, Rose. As for the lower half of her body, meanwhile, well, it is nothing like anything you have ever seen before. It is here, and here alone, that the woman betrays your narrow human definitions of beauty, for her legs are non-existent. Rather than two awkward appendages, this woman has, instead, the sleek, shimmering tail of a fish. Those rocks in the back definitely don't look like gigantic ribs. No imagery here, None at all. We're safe. Is she not, then, a human? She cannot be, not with a tail like that. This unusual sight makes you gasp, and quite audibly at that. You do not mean to be rude, but you cannot help yourself. Humans tend to react poorly to things they do not understand. At least you do not scream, and that would be even ruder. Oh my. You meant to observe the mermaid from a distance, but it would appear that your shocked gasp was loud enough to attract her attention. The fish-tailed vision sitting upon the rock is looking at you. Her gaze is so piercing it feels almost as if she's looking through you. Your heart seems to stop inside your chest, as if by some manner of magical spell. You thought the mermaid pretty when first you observed her, sitting on that outcrop of rock, her face turned in profile. Now she is looking at you, however. You can see that you were mistaken. She is not just pretty. She's beautiful. So much so it is almost unnerving. She looks as though she has stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong to this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. Her tail might be an impossible thing, but its scales look slick and wet regardless, like those of any fishes one might find at the market. These scales are iridescent, and bathed beneath the light of the moon, they seem almost to glow. The sight of her rather takes your breath away. This dialogue has happened word for word with the princess, and I think the Gravedigger as well, yes. There is a lot of parallel writing between the routes. You look at the mermaid. It's funny how she sees a woman and immediately spends the rest of the route spending every other line commenting how gay she is. You know what? Yeah, fair. It'd be like that sometimes. She looks back at you. You prepare yourself, expecting some sort of altercation, but the surprise soon fades from the mermaid's face. Her lips, which once were pursed in a frown, now shift upwards. She's smiling. Then she says in a refined sort of voice, My, it really is good to see a human again, particularly a human girl. I was beginning to fear that your kind had all disappeared, and I would no longer have anybody left to tell me of the world above the waters. My, this is quite the effusive greeting. The mermaid's introductory speech is positively brimming with excitement of a sweet, girlish variety. She is rather more amicable than the fine polish of her syllables would make one suggest. You might be a well-bred lady yourself with an accent to match, but you cannot help but feel overwhelmed. Anxiously, you observe the mermaid, and you ask her what she means. What happened? As to that, I am afraid I cannot say. I have been sitting on these rocks and singing for many, many nights, but nobody has come to see me. There have been no lovely humans for me to play with. I was beginning to wonder whether your kind had disappeared altogether. I feared some manner of calamity had occurred while I was slumbering beneath the water's surface, and your kind had been eradicated. You shudder, then reassure the mermaid to the contrary. Okay, we got an ad break in about a minute. As always, we will be pausing and not continuing. I'll be rehydrating during said ad break, so you will not be missing anything. About that, yeah, there was the plague. You do not know about the humans that she used to speak with, but you, at least, have not been eradicated. You are still here. Yes, well, I can see that, the mermaid answers with a light laugh. It really is a relief. My fellow merpeople who live beneath the water told me not to worry so, but I could not help myself. I have always been fond of you humans. It was rather sobering, sitting here night after night all on my own. It gets so lonely here. Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a burr. Have you heard it before? So, dear human, did you say that you are unfamiliar with these parts? Hesitantly, you examine the mermaid. Thoughtless though you might be at times, you are not so very self-centered that you cannot detect the note of longing in the mermaid's voice. Okay, ads are about to start, it sounds like, so we're gonna pause it here. We're not gonna advance to the next screen. I'm gonna take some drinks of tea and water and rest my voice a little bit. Okay, this will probably be fine. Historically, listening to mermaids by the shore is always a good idea. Very trustworthy sorts. Okay, now we're for realsies and ads. There we go. I am very excited to see what the rest of this route has in store for us. Especially when they are by some normal-looking rocks. Exactly. You get it. Okay, we got like 30 seconds left on ads. Sorry I'm not talking much during ads, I just want to make sure that I got the vocal strength to push on after a 10-hour shift into however many hours we got left of this novel. Alrighty, welcome back from ads, everyone. It is evident as she looks at you that she's hoping for a particular answer to her query. Thank you for the head pats, Moth, much appreciated. This answer, alas, is not one that you can furnish her with. You do not want to lie to her. It is after some hesitation, therefore, that you reaffirm your earlier words, though this time you embellish them. You tell the mermaid that you are a traveler from a far-off land, one which is very dissimilar to this one. It is not a complete fabrication. You tell her that you have only just arrived by the shore, and you are unfamiliar both with your immediate surroundings and those further afield. If there is a village nearby, then you have never set foot in it. You do not know what this village is like, nor how many inhabitants it boasts. You do not know if a calamity, as the mermaid grimly supposed, has struck this land. But if she fears all the humans within the immediate vicinity have been laid low by some mysterious malady, then she didn't worry overly on that score. You are still alive. Are you not, you wonder, enough to satiate her curiosity with the human realm? Yes, that is true. You are here. I am grateful naturally for your company, although... Although? Wistfully, the mermaid sighs. I was rather hoping you might be able to bring me some news of the nearby village, and of its inhabitants. This makes you wonder, was there a particular person from this village she was close to? So you were able to work out that much? The mermaid answers with a small smile. You are an intelligent one, aren't you? Your past professors would beg to differ on that score. You were always awful when it came to academics, mathematics in particular. Status of village, not good, yup. You could never get your head around all of the numbers. Your stern, stony-faced maths professor used to despair in you. But she is not here. None of them are here. It is just you now and the mermaid, and she does not need to know about your dismal academic record. Good at talking to women, bad at maths. So valid. You allow yourself a small smile, touched by her compliment, and tell her that it was nothing more than a lucky guess. For a guess, it was remarkably accurate. You are quite right. I did have a close friend from the nearby village. She was very dear to me. Internally, you congratulate yourself on this piece of detective work. How very clever you are. There are many humans in this world, of that I know. The human who spoke with me, however, was special. She was my human. You do not fail to catch the possessive note in the mermaid's voice. And I cherished her dearly. She would come to me on my rock late at night when she was finished with her chores, and we would talk. Jealousy arc? Oh, good. I asked her a good number of questions about the human realm, and asked about her customs. I fear my endless inquiries must have been rather tedious, but she was always happy to indulge me. She never once scorned me for my ignorance, and neither did she make me feel like a fool. She always made time for me, no matter how many demands she had on her time. She was a farmer's daughter, and she was awfully busy from dawn until dusk, threshing hay and taking the animals out to pasture. She told me of her work, and I marveled at her. Slender though she was, she possessed a truly tremendous amount of strength. I, who have lived in the ocean all of my life, cannot countenance working as hard as she did. But she bore her burdens without complaining. She was not the prettiest human who has walked the earth, but that mattered not to me. Her conversation was engaging, and I knew, through our continued encounters, that she meant no ill will. She did not have even a single drop of malice in her heart. The wistful manner in which the mermaid speaks of her friend makes you feel, for a few brief moments, a flicker of some ugly, primordial emotion. Could it be jealousy? It is painful, isn't it, to hear others wax poetic about those they hold dear, particularly when you yourself have never been regarded in so intimate a manner. You have, for many, many years, been woefully alone. But you are not alone now. You are with the mermaid, and she is with you. And though she might prefer to be in the company of an industrious farmhand, the farmhand is not here. Where did she go? Oh, if only I knew. She quite simply disappeared one day, almost as if she had been whisked away by a wicked spirit. That seems like quite the anticlimactic ending for such a close relationship. Did the farmhand not tell her companion beforehand that she might one day disappear? No, she did not. Nothing of the sort happened. It was all very sudden. So, you ask, feeling affronted upon the mermaid's behalf, did she not give you any warning? Not a single one. And when, you ask, did she disappear? I do not know, in truth. Time is a strange concept to beings such as myself, particularly as it seems to ebb and flow differently both above and below the surface. You humans have a strange compulsion to pin down and to place labels on everything. You have names for your seasons, and for your months, and even for your days of the week. It is all very precise. We merfolk, however, do not bother with such affairs, perhaps because we live for so much longer than you humans do. We have no need to obsessively document our days, not when we have so many of them at our disposal. This curious remark catches your attention. How long exactly do mermaids live for? The mermaid does not look much older than you do, but you cannot help but wonder. My, nosy aren't we? The mermaid asks, and she laughs, a soft tinkling sound like that of a bell, which makes you blush. Were you being nosy? Perhaps you were. You've always had a thirst for knowledge, not of the dry, dusty academic variety, but of stories peopled with strange persons. Literature was the only subject you were ever any good at. Again, it is hard for me to quantify, but to put it in terms a human like you can understand, I suppose we mermaids can live for centuries. Centuries? That is quite the surprise. But perhaps it shouldn't be. You've been subjected to any number of surprises tonight. What's one more to add to the pile? I have not been waiting quite that long, however, for my friend to return to me. I think it has been but a few seasons. It might not sound like much, but never before have I been so aware of the passage of time. I've experienced any number of wants during my life, but I've never wanted anything quite as badly as I want to see her. I wish she would sit with me, and she would talk to me just one more time. But perhaps I am asking for an impossibility. I have been waiting for long enough now to presume that she will not be returning to me. I fear that something must have happened to her, or to her family, or perhaps to her whole village. You can hear the worry throbbing in the mermaid's voice, so potent that for a few moments you swear you can feel the depths of her sorrow within your own breast. Her sadness over this human girl is a deep, dark thing, almost fathomless. You cannot let yourself indulge it for too long. Otherwise you fear you might drown in it. Ruefully, you tell the mermaid once more that you cannot help her. You are only a traveler after all. What do you know of a single insignificant farmhand in a nearby village? Yes, I thought you might say that. It is quite unfortunate, but oh well. I ought not to reflect upon all that I am missing. That would be churlish of me, and it would not be fair to you either. You did not approach me, I am sure, with the hope of hearing about all of my woes. I should be grateful instead for all it is that I do have. I still have my long, long life, which stretches before me like a golden cord. And, of course, I have you now. Does she? Do I not? I ought to go soon before my absence is noticed, but will you not come and visit me again tomorrow night? I think I would like that. I have always enjoyed speaking to humans. You make me feel less alone. You cannot help but feel as the mermaid observes you with those enchanting eyes of hers, that she does not truly wish to speak to you for your sake. She wants to use you instead as a substitute for the farmhand that she's been missing so very ardently. The thought stings, though you really ought to be used to it. Oh, yeah, This is gonna be a rough arc. Still, to be held in lower esteem than a farmhand of all things? It makes your self-esteem sting. You try not to let the mermaid notice this, though. The woes of your past are not her fault, much as the woes of her past are not yours. It is silly in any case to be jealous of a girl who might very well be dead. That is what you tell yourself. It is the only way to prop up your bruised sense of self-worth. You would, you tell the mermaid after a pause, like to see her again. You would like that very much. Oh, thank you. I've been feeling very gloomy for quite some time, but seeing you has invigorated me. Finally, it feels as though I can smile again. Did she not smile, you wonder, after her friend disappeared? I did not, no. I did not have the heart. Without her, the world seemed very dull and drab. Your company has cheered me immensely. This is why I like humans so much. You are not callous and unfeeling, like the merfolk who live beneath the water's surface. You are much kinder than they are. Back, got water and your cat's needing food and water? Welcome back, Joey. Oh, if only she knew. If the mermaid was aware, I wonder, of how petty you are and how jealous, would she still care for you? Well, that is neither here nor there. You agree to meet with the mermaid come sundown the following night, then make your slow, stumbling way back up the cliffs, then to the cottage you have purloined as your own. Once indoors, you settle down upon your pallet and then you close your eyes. The sighing of the wind outside and the distant roiling of the waves against the rocks do not disturb you. You feel, after your midnight encounter of a marish kind, quite at ease, and perhaps prematurely so. What happened to the icy fear which prompted your frantic flight through the forest? Where's all that gone? Do you not think you're being a bit complacent? No? Oh well. You will. The following morning, when it arrives, is cloudy and overcast. It is not a particularly pleasant morning, but at least it is not raining. That is some small consolation. You rise from your straw pallet, stretching, then glance about the interior of the fisherman's cottage. It looked dilapidated last night when much of it was obscured by the shadows, but it looks even more so when subjected to the morning's light. Narrator Chan's really not pulling any punches this time. She's really not, damn. The cottage's interior has a distinct, disquieting appearance of having been abandoned in a hurry. There is broken pottery strewn upon the ground, and the singular wooden chair, which once must have stood by the singular wooden table, is lying on the floor. The doors of the cupboards, meanwhile, are ajar, the shelves within depressingly bare. A quick search reveals a handful of edibles. There's precious little to be getting on with. Sorry. What a noun choice. Damn. Okay. So we will be splitting some gummies with the mermaid tonight. It's going to be a great time. If you wish to live here comfortably, you will have to look into foraging. You ate very little last night and your stomach is empty. Well, the edibles aren't going to help with that. It was the malcontented rumblings of your stomach in actual fact which roused you from your slumber. But your body seems to be very far away indeed, much like the gray clouds which choke the sky. You are not thinking of your own physical discomforts. You are dwelling instead upon the events of the night prior. You cannot help but think of the mermaid. Did you truly meet an aquatic maiden last night, during your nightly stroll when you could not sleep? It sounds unreal, especially now that the sun has risen and the shadows from the night prior have dispersed. You cannot quite believe it. It must have been a dream. But why then can you recall it so very clearly? You help yourself to the scant food and drink available to you, all the while thinking of your next course of action. Now what are you to do? You plan, of course, to return to the shore come nightfall so that you might once again see the mermaid, but the night will not arrive for quite some time. You need to find some means of keeping yourself occupied until then. The uninspiring interior of the thank you, Moth. The uninspiring interior of the cottage does not furnish you with any particular ideas, so you decide to go take a walk. Your soles still ache after your exertions last night, but if you go slowly, you ought to be all right. That is what you hope, at least. You don't want to spend much longer than you have to in the fisherman's cottage, no matter how cold it might be. It's almost as cold inside as it is out, and in any case, the cottage is far too small. You leave the cottage behind you and set off. You do not know where exactly you are going, but you suppose it does not matter overly much. You do not have any particular destination in mind. Your meanderings lead you to the cliffs, which are steep and sharp. The drop to the shore is a perilous one, so much so that you have to wonder at how you were able to descend the cliffs the night prior to meet the mermaid. You are rather more determined than you ever realized, though I, of course, could have told you that much. You are surprisingly capricious for such a small, slender human. You walk along the side of the cliffs, keeping a sensible distance away from the drop to the shore. You might have survived last night's excitement unscathed, but you do not fancy trying your luck. It would be so like you, really, to avoid a drop to your death in the darkness, only to stumble during the morning's light and take an irreversible tumble. Wow, I love you, Mineko. Your fortunes have never been the fairest. Your meanderings along the cliff reveal to you all manner of curious flora. You thought the night prior that the cliffs were weather-blasted, but you can see now that your assumptions were incorrect. There are flowers here, very warm and bright like the sun's light during the summertime. Or, you think with a flush of pleasure, the fair hair of the mermaid, whom you are certain you spoke to last night. These flowers are so very like her hair, it is uncanny. You step towards the flowers, drawn towards them, and sink down to your knees. The tall grass brushes your ankles like a caress, the morning's dew wetting your skirt. Your clothes are getting damp, as are your legs, but you care not for this minor discomfort. You've just had an idea. Why not make a gift for your new friend? You are sure that she would appreciate it. Why would she not? She told you in a voice which was steeped with dolor that she had been feeling very lonely. You want to see her again. And when you next see her, you would like to make her smile. It is with this thought in mind that you begin to pick the flowers which are growing upon the cliffside. These flowers do not have any thorns, and their delicate stems snap easily enough between your fingers. You take care when plucking these flowers to leave a substantial amount of stem intact. You will need these stems so that you might twine the flowers together. Do you mean to make for your mermaid a diadem, something she will be able to wear in her hair? This tiara is certain to suit her. She's so pretty, anything would suit her. You continue to work slow and steadfast as the weak sun shines. It takes time, but you are eventually able to fashion something you are satisfied with. You only hope the mermaid will feel similarly, if indeed she really does exist. Carefully, you pocket your makeshift diadem, then decide to forage for some food. You discover during your search some fruit trees whose sweet burdens are enough to fortify your spirits. For the present, at least. It is fortunate, really, that you were so excited about your moonlight rendezvous with the mermaid. If you were less focused upon the future and dwelt more in the immediate present, you might have more of an appetite. The emptiness in your stomach assuaged, you return to the cottage, where you mean to wait for the setting of the sun. There is very little to do, you soon discover, in the cottage other than checking the cupboards and sweeping the floor, occupations which both feel depressingly pointless. There are no books to read either, which you might pass your idle hours. You do, however, busy yourself with trying to light a fire, so that you might ward off the cold. The time is horribly slow in passing, in part because you have precious little to do, but also because you cannot stop thinking of the mermaid. Will she really return to the shore as she said she would? Can you truly trust her? You hope that you can. If she were not present at your designating meeting place, you think you would die from disappointment. The seconds continue to trickle by, unchecked by any hourglass, and as they do, the sun sinks beneath the horizon. Part of you worries, however, that it might still be too early to search for the mermaid. Will she be there yet? You sit there, your stomach tied up in anxious knots, and as you listen to the wind which buffets your windows, you hear it. The sound is faint, but you recall it well from the night before. There's a single, solitary voice outdoors, tempest-tossed amidst the roiling waves. The voice is a high, clear one, silvery, if indeed voices can have colors, like a finely polished dinner plate in a noblewoman's house. The voice belongs, of course, to the mermaid. Who else do you know with a voice as angelic as that? Relief begins to bubble up inside you, a relief so potent you feel dizzy from it. She did not abandon you after all. Why, you wonder, did you ever think she would? She said that she wanted to see you. Did you think that a mere nicety? Buoyed as if by a gentle breeze, you hurry to the door. With trembling fingers, they are trembling, I presume, from excitement rather than fear, you seize the handle, then turn it. And you step out into the dark, inky night. This track is great. Yeah, it's so good. The little vocal line is phenomenal. You walk towards the cliffs as you did the night prior, beneath the cover of the inky blue sky, the wind moaning fitfully with every step you take. Your soles still ache from your expedition the day prior, but you are able to ignore this discomfort. Hello, Roxas. Welcome, welcome. It seems irrelevant, really, when compared to the prospect of once again meeting the mermaid. You've known her for only one night, yet she's come to mean more to you than your own well-being. You would do anything for the mermaid if she asked it. Well, almost anything. You hurry down the sharp incline of the cliffs to the shore, almost stumbling in your scuffed brown shoes, which really were not built with rock climbing in mind. So frantic are you in your attempts to once again make the mermaid's acquaintance, you very nearly fall. It is a good thing that you still have enough sense about you to regain your footing. Otherwise, this tale would come to a premature ending. Eventually, you make your way onto the shore, then approach the jagged outcrop of rock whereat you last saw the mermaid. Like the night prior, the mermaid is perched upon these rocks, her fair hair strewn about her shoulders. When she sees you from across the shore, she ceases her singing and her eyes light up. Or at least they seem to. So you've returned to me, my hero, the mermaid says, and then lightly she giggles. Or perhaps I should say heroine. Her praise makes you blush. You do not feel worthy of it. Nobody's ever called you a heroine before. You do not even think... Thank you, Moth. You do not even think of yourself as a heroine. If a story were made about you, you'd rather think that you would be a supporting character, one without her own voice. You are not interesting enough. The mermaid seems to think that you are, though. She's staring at you delightedly, as though you are the one person in the world she most wishes to speak to. The thought makes you tremble, but not as much as the mermaid's gaze. You tell the mermaid that you do not think you are so very brave, but she dismisses your awkward remark with a laugh. I think you are. I saw the way you scaled those cliffs. I thought that was very heroic. Oh, so she saw that, did she? Then did she see how you slipped down those cliffs, raising your palms in the process, and how you very nearly fell? You have never been the most graceful of girls, but to have your failings exposed before a being as poised and as perfect as the mermaid, it stings a little bit. More, in fact, than the resultant grazes on your palms your clumsiness wrought you. You tell the mermaid that there was nothing so very heroic about all of that. You were simply excited, that is all, to see her again. You weren't thinking. Well, that makes two of us. I was excited to see you again. She was? Naturally. I had a very good time speaking to you last night. I had hoped that we might resume our correspondence. That is why I came to the rocks a bit earlier than usual. I was waiting for you. Just wait till she sees us with toast in mouth, running into the first person, turning the corner. Oh, good. Also, hello, Blair. Welcome, welcome. Did you hear my song? Yes, you reply, with a nod of your head. You heard it all the way in the abandoned cottage. It called out to you. That was the general idea. I was singing for you. She was? You do not think that you are worthy of the mermaid's song, but if she does not mind dedicating her voice to you, then... Well, who else would I dedicate my voice to? There's nobody else to hear me. That is a good point, you suppose. Also, ad break in about a minute. As always, we will not be continuing text as ads run. I'll just be rehydrating. Hello, only here for a bit before bed, but wishing you a stream as wonderful as Moomin, the people's hero. Thank you, Blair. He is indeed the people's hero. Shyly, you look back at the mermaid. You thank her for her song. It was very beautiful. And tell her, before you can lose your nerve, that you've prepared a present for her, too. Oh? Have you really? You have. It is a small thing. Nothing more than a silly trinket, but if it would not be too much of an imposition, then... With clumsy fingers, you reach into your pocket. For a few moments... Actually, I'm gonna snooze the ads. I'm snoozing ads. We got 5 more minutes without ads. You're welcome. For a few moments, you fret that your near fall down the cliff might have damaged the delicate chain nestled within it, but your worries are in vain. The chain is surprisingly sturdy, given it was made with only a few flowers, and it is held firm against the odds. You handle the chain with great care all the same, however, as you hold it out, presenting it for the mermaid's approbation. It was for the mermaid that you fashioned this chain. You thought that it would look nice nestled in her hair. You were pleased with the chain when first you made it, but after looking at the mermaid, you've begun to reconsider. The mermaid's beauty is otherworldly, so much so it almost hurts to look at her. Your flower crown, by comparison, seems a very meager offering indeed. The longer you hold your gift out, the more unworthy it feels. You have half a mind as the seconds elapse to snatch your silly, wholly unworthy gift back from the mermaid before she can judge you too harshly. But the mermaid's lips curve upwards into a smile, and in a voice so full of gratitude it makes your heart throb, she says, "Oh my! Did you make this for me?" Well, yes, you reply, still feeling a little flustered. You saw these flowers earlier when you went for a walk, and they made you think of her. Not, you hasten to add, that you think her beauty is comparable to these flowers. They are far inferior when contrasted with her good looks. You simply thought. You are unable to get the rest of the sentence out, however, because the mermaid interrupts you. Not rudely. Goodness.
2ND month. Back to lurk to do Fate Farm and DT.
Thank you so much for the 2 months, Roxas. Really, really appreciate it. Enjoy your lurk, have fun fate farming. Perhaps she pities you. She must be able to hear how your voice is trembling. Can she also see the way your hands tremor? Oh dear. Faint heart never won the hand of a fair maiden, you know. What happened to all of your confidence? I think that your gift is a wonderful one. I did not at all expect it, but it really is pretty. You look at your feet, too shy to meet the mermaid's gaze. And you say very quietly that you are glad that she thinks so, but she does not need to spare your ego. You have precious little of it left as it is. The mermaid seems touched by your shyness. Perhaps she likes her prey to be self-conscious because she smiles. I am not simply saying things to spare your ego. I am not like that. Humans might spout platitudes as easily as they breathe air, but I do not compliment others unless I truly mean it. Yeah, that was definitely a word choice. Is that not the point of speech? To have an honest dialogue with one another? If one party in a conversation is withholding their true intentions, then conversation is impossible. Playing games is a waste of my time, particularly given my time above the surface is so very limited. Oh. You blush at this, more deeply still, and survey the mermaid beneath the full fringe of your eyelashes. Then she really does like it. Did I not just say that? You humans are so very funny, what with all of your second guessing. She was like that too in the beginning. She? My friend. The mermaid's answer is a simple one, but it makes your stomach clench regardless. Ah, yes. Her friend. How could you have forgotten about her? She used to make me gifts too, you know. Gifts like this one. She would pick flowers on the cliffs over there where I cannot tread. Okay, now ad break in about a minute. The mermaid gestures with one hand to the cliffs, which tower above the shore, tall and imposing as though to stab the sky above. And she would fashion them into crowns like this one, and bracelets. I was appreciative of her tokens, though she was similarly shy when first she presented them to me. She did not seem to think very much of her handiwork. You and her are remarkably similar, really. There is no guile in the mermaid's voice, but her words have rather taken the wind out of your sails. Of course, the cowherd gave the mermaid gifts. Why would she not? The mermaid is beautiful. She is so very beautiful, like a tutelary goddess. She seems to invite tribute simply by existing. Were you more religious, or more irreligious, maybe? You might even consider worshipping her. Though in essence, is that not what you were doing with your flower crown? How silly of you to think that your idea was an original one. Okay, yay! Great. I might be accustomed to gifts, but it has been a long time since any human has bequeathed me with anything. This is a pleasant surprise. I am truly thankful for your kindness, dear one. Oh. That's dear one, 3 for 3. Okay, cool. The mermaid leans forward on her rock so as to pluck the circlet from your fingers. Her benevolent smile all the while is unwavering. And now that I look at your gift more closely, I rather think it is of a superior quality to the gifts my old friend once gave me. Alrighty, we are now on ads. I'm gonna rehydrate. Oh boy. Poor protagonist. They're not dealing with the comparisons very well. And you know what? Fair. I think the mermaid needs to stop talking about her ex for a little bit. That would probably be good for Protag's poor self-esteem. I do really like the music in this route, though. It's been super solid. Got about half a minute on ads left. We'll continue onwards into whatever fate has in store for us. Very curious as to how this one's gonna unravel. I mean, given the content warnings, I'm sure we can hazard a guess as to what our final fate this route's gonna be. Welcome back from ads, everyone. We're continuing. Now this is enough to make you start, if the touch of the mermaid's fingers upon your own was not. Would your silly gift really be better than those she once accepted? I think so. My friend's trinkets were all rather clumsy in execution, though I cherished them nonetheless. They were very precious to me. They did not last for very long, though. Not when I took them with me to my home beneath the waves. The waters soon rend the fragile links between the flower stems asunder. Your diadem, however, seems more sturdy, but it is by the same token very delicate. You must be very good with your hands. You think back briefly on your disastrous sewing lessons of the past, your numerous failed attempts to thread your needle while the other girls giggled at you, and you blush. You think the mermaid's praise might be a touch too effusive. You tell the mermaid as much, but she only laughs. I do not think so. Now, the mermaid places your floral trinket upon her head, over her long, fair hair, and surveys you in a manner which seems almost coquettish. What do you think? You think that the mermaid looks radiant, and though that is less because of your gift and more because of her natural looks. The flower crown's so cute! You tell the mermaid this, though not in terms quite this glowing, and she giggles. You are selling yourself too short. I think your gift is lovely, really. The flowers rather match my hair. Yes, you answer with a nod of your head. That is why you picked those flowers. She's all you've been able to think of. I am glad that you've been thinking of me. I, in truth, have been thinking of you, though I did not wish to say as much. No? No. It would be embarrassing to confess to how much I've been looking forward to our reunion if you did not feel similarly. I do not care to pine for humans from afar. But if you care for me as I do you, then it makes me feel less alone. You hasten to assure the mermaid, your face aflame. Do you ever stop blushing? Goodness gracious. That you do care for her. Very much so. You have not known her for very long, but she has certainly made an impression upon you. She's such an easy conversationalist that time simply slips by when you are together. Ooh. Sure, we'll save. And it does not hurt, of course, that she is so pretty. I have heard it said, yes, that my looks are rather appealing. My old friend was similarly complimentary. I cannot blame you humans for being so taken with me when my form is so very graceful. Your legs seem rather cumbersome in comparison to my smooth, sleek tail. It must be so very depressing to lumber about on land as you do, living your days beneath the harsh sun and the cool, unfeeling moon. Sometimes I rather think I pity you. But the surface is a good deal brighter than it is beneath the ocean. I will grant you that much. You agree with the mermaid, still feeling flushed, but there are some perks to having legs. An agreement which makes the mermaid giggle. I am certain that there are, that you cannot explore the ocean's depths as I can. I presume you have never tried it? You shake your head, no. You had never thought to do so, largely because you have never been so close to the sea before. Not in all of your life. You did not have much opportunity for nautical exploration in the past. You were not allowed to go anywhere then, save to the local church. It was quite a lonely existence. Well now, that is a pity. You were kind enough to give me a gift fashioned from flowers which grow where I cannot reach them. So perhaps I ought to return the favor. The favor? Yes, that is right. It would seem only fitting that I give to you something which can only be found in the ocean's depths. Perhaps we could look at it as a form of cultural exchange. Oh, no, you protest, your eyes wide. You couldn't possibly put such a burden on her. You did not give her a gift, after all, because you wanted to receive anything in return. Anything other than her friendship, that is. Her conversation is more than enough to satisfy you. You do not need any physical presence on top of that. The mermaid does not seem convinced, however, by your naysaying. She raises one eyebrow. Even this gesture is performed elegantly, and says, If my company is all it takes to satisfy you, then you are easy to please indeed. But please, do not rebuff me. I am offering because I wish to do this. Remember what I said. I do not say things for the sake of it. Well, you murmur, if she really doesn't mind. Of course I do not mind. Now wait there, I will not be very long. It would be rude to abandon my new friend in the midst of a conversation. The mermaid turns her attention towards the clear, mirror-like water which shimmers beneath the moonlight. Then she dives. Her body arches elegantly through the air, her long, slender limbs cleaving through the surface of the water with nary a ripple. The mermaid's face is first submerged, then her torso, and at long last her tail. The water rushes forth to envelop her, as though it has been waiting for her. It subsumes her. It swallows her. Then she disappears from view. The mermaid is gone, but you are still there. Well, now what are you to do? There's nothing that can be done, you suppose, save waiting. You stand there for several moments, watching the black water lap against the shore. The breeze howls mournfully like a wounded animal as it buffets your hair about your face and your torn skirt around your legs. Time elapses. But how much of it? While you stand there fretfully, feeling as ostentatious as a maypole. When will the mermaid return? Will she ever return? You are starting to worry. Is that all you do? When? Look, over there, by the rocks upon which the mermaid once sat. The water is rippling. It looks as though your new friend has returned. The mermaid pulls herself onto the rocks, using a surprising amount of upper body strength, and smiles at you. I apologize for the wait. I hope I did not make you worry. You were worrying, but you are not half so honest as the mermaid. Mermaids might be spoken of as devious tricksters who lure sailors to their deaths, but they are, in actuality, very sincere. They are much more sincere than most humans. Perhaps that is why your kind fears them so. There are few creatures who inhabit this world whose capacity for lying is greater than your own. You tell the mermaid that you are not worrying, and she answers with a wry smile. I am not so sure about that. The mermaid is wilier than you were giving her credit for. She has seen straight through you. But no matter. It took me some time, but I was finally able to retrieve for you a gift. I do not have the means to turn this into a pretty piece of jewelry as you did with the flowers, but I wish to give it to you nonetheless. I do hope that you like it. The mermaid leans forwards, then holds her gift out towards you. Her slender fingers unfurl about it like the petals of a flower being folded back, and... what a pretty gift it is. The ocean might be dark and deep, cold and unfeeling, but the same cannot be said for the object which glitters upon the mermaid's palm. She has fished from the depths of the water a beautiful shell, one which shimmers prismatic colors beneath the moon's light, much like the scales on her tail. The shell is so very pretty it quite takes your breath away. You look at the shell worriedly, your teeth biting your lower lip. That is a bad habit, you know, you will make yourself bleed. Then ask the mermaid if this is really all right. Would a gift like this not be wasted on you? Of course not. I want you to have this shell because it makes me think of you. It does? How so? I thought it should be obvious. The shell is a lovely find. As are you. Oh. Did she just call you lovely? Surely you must have misheard her. You can scarcely believe it. It is an awful lot for you to take in, but... Now why are you gawping at me like that? The wind will change, you know, and then your face will be stuck like that, which would be quite the shame. It would waste your good looks, which for a maiden such as yourself would be nothing short of a tragedy. It seems as though the mermaid really does think you are pretty after all. The mermaid with her smooth skin and her fair, fair hair. You can scarcely believe it. There is something almost laughable about the mermaid's compliments. How could she call you pretty when her looks are so immediately, obviously superior? Tongue-tied, you look at your feet. You do not know how to reply to the mermaid. You have half a mind to refute her words, to tell her that you are not that pretty, not really, but you fear that might look rude. You do not want to rebuff the mermaid's well wishes. There is nothing for it, then, but to take the shell which the mermaid retrieved from the ocean's depths for you. You do not think that you are worthy of it, but neither do you want to refuse it. Now that is a surprise, the mermaid says, amused as you reach for the shell. I did not think you would be bold enough to take it, not without more coaxing on my part. You have exceeded my expectations. What a good girl you are. Your heart flutters with this praise, and it flutters all the more when your trembling fingers brush against the mermaid's palm. She presses the shell into your skin, and your own fingers tighten about it. The shell is sharp and pointed, and it digs uncomfortably into your skin. It hurts, but there is pleasure in the pain. This, too, feels like a gift from the mermaid. You do not want to spurn it. Even pain can be a precious thing when dealt by one whom you care for. You never knew that before. You hold the shell to your heart, which is beating in a regular rhythm, and look at the mermaid. Then very softly you thank her. It is quite all right. It seems only fair after you shared part of your world with me. I wish to share part of my world with you too. Humans cannot normally descend beneath the ocean's depths, and even if they do, they cannot remain there for very long. You are far too fragile. You see, you're back in time for normal things? Yeah, the most normal. Welcome back. Would that I could, I would bring you with me to my underwater kingdom where we might be together. The mermaid's melodic voice trails away, suffused with something resembling melancholia. She sighs. Thank you for the Catcrawl care package dice. That is a stretch, posture check, and a hydrate. I have hydrated, I've de-shrimped, and that's a big stretch. Okay. Then she shakes her head and smiles. But this will have to do for the present. Please, take good care of that shell. Look at it from time to time, and think of me. That would make me very happy indeed. The days pass following this nightly encounter with your aquatic acquaintance with almost intolerable slowness. You endure the hours of sunlight as best you can by going for long, bracing walks amidst the heather, foraging for berries and fruits amidst the hedgerows. You even, when you've mustered enough courage, take an old fishing line uncovered in the fisherman's cottage and try your luck by the shore. Your initial attempts at angling are without success, but as the time passes, your proficiency in the art grows. Some time after you take up your rod, you find you're able to catch the odd fish here and there. Small, scrawny things mostly, but the meat goes a ways to bolstering your rudimentary diet. You teach yourself how to remove the scales of these saltwater fish that you've captured, and how to gut them. You learn, too, how to cook them over a simple fire. Sometimes you skewer these fish of yours on spikes and roast them slowly, innards and all. You are able to sustain yourself well enough during the day, though the faint pangs of hunger you experience never quite go away. Your physical discomfort, however, is secondary when compared to your desire to visit the mermaid. Your days might be dull and drab, but your nights, comparatively, are made of magic. It is only during the night that the mermaid emerges from beneath the waves, and when she does, you hurry to her side. You have never before had anybody who took so great an interest in you, not until you met the mermaid. That is why she has grown to mean so very much to you. She's the first friend you have ever had. But if you do not temper your obsession accordingly, I fear she may very well be your last. You care little for the potential danger, however, which lurks beneath your interactions with the mermaid. You want only to show the mermaid how much that you value her. And you hope, within time, that she will come to value you, too. If you keep seeing her, surely she will stop thinking of her human friend whom she lost so suddenly. That is your plan, at least. Fortunately, your self-serving wish to grow closer to the mermaid seems close to being granted. Your nightly conversations when you greet her come easily enough, the words tumbling from your mouth like thread. You have grown rather comfortable in the mermaid's company, and she yours. She must have, for it is not long after you bequeathed your diadem of flowers to the mermaid that she looks at you, then posits a curious question. I was wondering, dear one, whether you would mind indulging me. I know this might not seem like an appealing proposition, but I thought it would be remiss of me not to ask. I have seen some of your world, for I have sat on the shore for many, many nights hence, but you have seen nothing of mine. It seems unfair that I should know some of the world that you inhabit, while you know so little of my own. Welcome back, Joey. So, would you care to come with me, beneath the ocean's waves? There is much that I wish to show you. Sights that cannot, I fear, be accurately represented in language alone. Okay, yay! Words can be awfully stifling when it comes to the communication of experiences such as this. It is quite the florid speech, but at the heart of it beats a simple enough request. The mermaid wishes to bring you beneath the ocean's surface, so that she might show you her home. You are flattered initially, but the mermaid wishes to show you something so personal. Seems normal and fine and without issue, I agree. But after this flutter of flattery, there comes an uncomfortable sense of unease. The mermaid might feel at home beneath the water's surface, but what of you? You are a human girl with two awkward, ungainly legs, and you were not made to live under the sea. You frown, and mistrustfully you look at the ocean. It is late at night, as it always is when you speak to the mermaid, and the water does not look blue. It appears instead to be obsidian. The waves moan as they break against the rocks, which jut out of the shore like a mighty dragon's bones. They sound angry, violent almost. Salty sea spray arcs through the air, caught in the moonlight. It shimmers sharp as knives. Hesitantly, you take a step back. You are a little afraid of the sea. It is so restless, so deep, and so all-consuming it reminds you of a hungry monster. You have never submerged yourself beneath the ocean before. You never had the opportunity. You do not even know how to swim. You are fearful for your own safety should you consent to dive beneath the undulating meniscus of the water, but do not look so frightened, dear one. I will be with you, and I will not let you go. You have my word. Okay, yay, that seems fine. Shyly, you glance at the mermaid. She's still perched upon her rock, her hands folded neatly upon her. Cat, hello, Epso, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Well, she does not have a lap, not really. You are still afraid, but the mermaid's reassurance does help. Has she not told you numerous times that she is nothing if not honest? You trust her not to break her word. Yeah, I trust her not to let go of me. She will not leave you beneath the waves, abandoning you to a cruel, lonely fate to become the food of so many fish. Of that you are certain. That is why, despite all of your misgivings, you find yourself nodding your head. If that is what she wants, then you will accompany her. You are interested, too, in what lies beneath the ocean's surface out of sight. Oh, I knew that you would agree. Thank you very much for humoring me. I will endeavor to make these next few moments the most memorable you have ever experienced. Girlie, you cannot swim. She's gonna try. It's fine. Now would you care to come with me? I shall be your guide. The ocean's depths might be dark, but I will not let you get away from me. I promise. The mermaid extends her hand towards you, a hand which seems to cut through the moonlight just like a blade. The moon's celestial rays play against the mermaid's upturned palm so that it shimmers. The mermaid's hair, too, is glowing, backlit by Celine's glow so that she almost looks like an angel. Very, very, very good word choices. Uh-huh. Yup. Her beauty is such that for a few moments you cannot do anything. Neither step towards her nor back away. You feel frozen in place, rooted into the sand like some shore-growing tree. You still do not understand why the mermaid has taken such an interest in you, but an old adage does occur to you. You ought not to look a gift horse in the mouth, or ignore the pleas of a graceful, dignified mermaid. You reach out, your arms shaking like the skinny bough of an ancient tree, and find the mermaid's hand with your own. The mermaid's fingers curl about your own. Her nails, only now you notice how sharp they are, digging into your skin. Though the mermaid herself looks very soft, her grip is surprisingly strong. You do not think if she willed it, you would be able to get away from her. But why would you want to? She does not mean you any harm. Now let us be on our way. There is much to see in my underwater kingdom. I cannot wait to show it to you. The mermaid turns toward the ocean, as do you. A brief moment passes, one during which you allow yourself to stand there, your hand claimed by the mermaid's as the wind buffets your hair and your skirts. She doesn't mean you harm. Yeah! You inhale deeply. The smell of the salt is so heavy in the back of your nostrils, so much so you could choke on it. It is not a particularly pleasant smell, but you have grown accustomed to it after living in your tumble-down cottage by the shore. It is nostalgic almost. You have a vague feeling as you stand on the precipice between your world and that of your aquatic companions, that you might never again be able to smell the salt in the air like this. That is just a silly supposition, though. You are being foolish. The mermaid will return you back to the surface in due course, will she not? You hope that she will. You, unlike her, cannot breathe underwater. You open your mouth meaning to ask the mermaid about this fact, but are not afforded the opportunity to speak. The mermaid has already shifted, her fingers still twined about yours. She dives forwards, her body slicing through the surface of the water like a knife, and you, inexorably, are dragged along with her. The water rushes forwards to meet you in a sudden, shocking rush. The mermaid's descent might be graceful, but yours is anything but. You do not know how to position your legs, and your limbs feel awfully ungainly. The shock of the water as it touches your skin, meanwhile, is intense. You did not think that the water would be this cold. No, it's not just cold. It's freezing. It feels as though all the warmth has been sapped out of your skin. If your head was not already beneath the ocean's waves, you would gasp from it. You do not gasp, however. You cannot. You have already been submerged. Your body no longer feels as though it is your own. Your hair is unspooling behind you like thread, and your skirt is fluttering. Your body rocks to and fro as though being soothed in a mother's arms. It is a curious feeling, but it is not wholly unpleasant. If only it were not so cold down here, beneath the ocean's depths, you might find it relaxing. It is dark under the surface of the water, yes, but you have not ventured so very far, not yet at least, that the glow of the moon cannot penetrate its depths. Your surroundings are illuminated, though faintly, and thanks to this precious illumination, you can see the schools of fish swimming about you. Their scales all glisten as they arc through the waves like rainbows. They do not look like life forms. They appear instead, to your fairy tale-addled mind, to be ancient relics brought to life through some strange arcane sorcery. They are pretty. No, that word is not significant enough. They are beautiful. You did not know as you stood upon the shore how very full of life it was beneath the water's surface. You did not know either how very beautiful these aquatic denizens of the deep were. You have never seen fish like this before, not in real life. You have memories, vague, hazy memories, of dissecting a fish once, in a particularly gruesome biology lesson. But that feels like a very long time ago now. You would far rather think on your present than dwell upon the past. But the seconds pass, and as they do, the mermaid continues to swim, leading you deeper and deeper into the ocean's depths. While once you were close enough to the surface that the moon's light could still slice through the waves, now it is so very dark you can scarcely see. Your vision is beginning to blur. You can feel an uncomfortable pressure weighing down on your inert body. You've descended, you realize, with a ripple of anxiety. Too deep. Humans were not meant to descend into these depths. The water, once cold, now feels freezing. It caresses every inch of your exposed flesh, as if to sap what little warmth you might still possess. You shiver, and when you do, you swear that you can hear your teeth chattering, despite the water which stops your ears. The water is stopping up your nostrils. There is so much water down here at the bottom of the ocean. It is endless. The mermaid might be able to breathe underwater, but you are not so very fortunate. Your body is far less sophisticated than hers, and it requires oxygen with which to furnish your body with continued strength, not salt water. Can't go back up now, girlie, you'd get the bends. Oh, yup. True. The thought of trying to inhale the endless water which surrounds you makes you shudder. You would rather not attempt it. You do not have gills. When will the mermaid take you back to the surface? Surely she must know that you have fast begun to near your limit. You've been under the water for far too long, and it is too cold. And it is so dark now in any event, you cannot see much of anything. The joy you once felt during your underwater adventures begin to dissipate, just like the last of the oxygen you still possess. It is time to return to the surface now, but how are you to communicate this to the mermaid? You cannot speak, and she is not looking at you. She's staring instead, fixedly, at something beyond your comprehension. Something far away, perhaps, in the underwater gloom that you cannot see. Not knowing what else to do, you try to pull your arm free from the mermaid's grasp. You hope that this will signal to her that she has grown too carried away in her endeavors, that she ought to cut short your expedition and return you to the shore. The mermaid does not react, however, to your attempts to escape her. Her grip does not slacken, as you had hoped, from about your wrist. In fact, it is quite the opposite. It feels as though she is gripping you more tightly than she was, as if to prevent your escape. But why would she do that? You tap on the mermaid's shoulder to get her attention, a gesture which prompts her, at long last, to turn. Her fair hair billows about her, suspended in the water like a shroud. Then she says in that calm, measured, incredibly reasonable voice of hers, "Yes, dear one. What is it?" If you could, you would open your mouth to reply to her, but alas, you are a human girl, not a fish, and you cannot speak underwater. Any attempt to do so would accomplish naught save filling your pretty little mouth with water. The mermaid really ought to have considered that before she started to ask you questions. But your comfort seems to be the last thing on the mermaid's mind. She smiles at you gently, delicately, then says, "I understand. Being underwater for so long must be beginning to take its toll. Do your lungs feel like iron? Are they heavy?" So she does understand your woes. You might not be able to speak, suspended as you are in the dark, murky depths, but communication is not wholly impossible. You nod your head emphatically, hoping that this will be enough to make your distress apparent, but yes, that will happen. It is a natural part, or so I have heard, of drowning. Not that I have ever had the opportunity to experience it for myself. I am incapable, you see, of meeting my demise in such a manner. Now, what was that? What could she mean? I mean, the mermaid answers, can she read minds? That this was a calculated act upon my part. Forgive me, dear one. But the moment you consented to sinking beneath the water with me, your fate was sealed. Your lungs will be flooded with water soon enough, and you will die. It is not a pretty way to go. You needn't worry about your corpse bloating, disfiguring, or being eaten by fish, though. I will take very good care of it, I promise. In death, you will look lovely, almost angelic. Is that not what you always wanted? You do not know what the mermaid thinks it is exactly that you want, but you think she is laboring under some severe misunderstandings. Thank you, normal women. Yep. You would like to try and correct her. You do not want to die, but of course you cannot open your mouth. What a pity. Well, at least it saves me the effort of transcribing your dying pleas. I doubt that would be particularly interesting. If you want to know why I am doing this, then I would not mind obliging. I have no secrets to keep from you. Also, ad break in about a minute, chat. Other than the secret, perhaps, that upon your first meeting she nursed within her cold fish's heart the desire to bring about your watery murder? You might have liked to know that before you agreed to sink beneath the ocean's surface with her. I am only doing this because I have no choice. The other girl I liked, after all, the one whom I adored, disappeared. She went away, and I was never again afforded the opportunity to see her. You remind me of that girl, though you do not look much alike. You do not act very alike either. But you are both humans who, despite your delicacies, have no shortage of determination. How your kind is able to live when your lifespans are so very short, and you are susceptible to so very many diseases, is a mystery to me. Though my lifespan far eclipses your own and I am far sturdier, I cannot help but marvel at the tenacity of you humans. I know that if I were as fragile as you, I would not be able to exist in this world. I would be far too afraid. I would see my own death lurking behind every corner, just as you can see your own death looming before you. It is not so very far away now. You can feel it coming closer and closer, enclosing its cold, icy fingers around your throat. You humans are incredible. I cannot help but respect you, weak and pitiful though you are. She respects your tenacity so very much she wishes to extinguish it. That does not make very much sense. Perhaps my words are confusing you, but it makes perfect sense. To me, at least. My beloved cowherd left me. I do not know where she went, or what happened to her. Perhaps she was murdered by bandits. Perhaps she contracted a horrible disease. Perhaps she simply fell and cracked her skull. Alrighty, we are now in ads, so time to chill for a minute and a half. And, await the end. Mermaids are just so trustworthy. I don't know what the deal is. She's holding on to her word. She's not letting us go. Chilling, like one might while deep underwater. Exactly. So very true. Oh man. This is a way to go. Certainly one of the ways to die of all time. Real good game. It really is. Truly. Got like 20 seconds left on ads. Almost there. It's almost time to drown for realsies. Oh man. For real, for real. You have a big time thalassophobia and a fear of drowning, but this is still pretty good. Damn. I mean, whatever sinks your boat. I do not know. I will never know. For many, many days and many, many nights, her disappearance tormented me. I could not help but wonder how it came about, but there were so many possibilities I could not imagine all of them. This thought terrified me. It still does. That is why I am going to take you to my underwater kingdom with me. There we can be together forever. Nothing will be able to tear us apart then. I will brush your hair, and I will dress you in the finest pearls found from the bottom of the seabed. It will be lovely. Much, much lovelier than any sort of miserable existence you might be able to eke out above the water. In my citadel, you will never be attacked by bandits, nor ravaged by diseases. You'll be quite safe, I promise. Quite safe, yes, and quite dead, too, surely? Well, yes. That is the only unfortunate aspect of my plan. She considers your death nothing more than a mere misfortune. The mermaid might be surprisingly cold after all. But perhaps you ought to have predicted this. She is part fish. Are fish not cold-blooded like lizards? You probably learned this at some point during biology class, but your lessons are beginning to feel very faint and far away now. Your body is beginning to fail you. You cannot take much more of this. It is a necessary sacrifice, though, if we are to be happy. I am doing this, you know, for both our sakes. I do apologize for tricking you, but please, try to understand. I really have been lonely. You would be more inclined to sympathize with her, perhaps, if her loneliness was not ushering your inevitable demise. But you are too preoccupied with your dwindling reserves of oxygen to feel much in the way of anything for your captor. You can feel the pressure of the water against your eyes. They are beginning to ache. Perhaps you are crying. You do not know. The water masks much of your anguish. You've been drifting underwater for almost 3 minutes. This is a remarkably long time to go without any air. You think your good sense sensor is broken? Nah, it's fine. Your vision is beginning to cloud. Your surroundings, already dark, look darker still, unpleasant and obscure, and not at all like the paradise the mermaid promised you. The pain of being suffocated slowly is far stronger and far more oppressive than the sensation of the mermaid's hand wound tightly about your arm. Is there no escape for you? The prognosis, I am sorry to say, is grim. Your fate, as the mermaid said, really was sealed the moment you met her, luxuriating on those rocks beneath the moonlight. But you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now, what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace? Or will you try to fight against it? Alrighty. Time for her third decision point. That is a bit of an anticlimactic answer at this juncture in your life story, but I suppose it would be remiss of me to lecture you too much. I am sure you are well aware of what a terrible series of decisions you have made. There is no need for me to belabor the point. That would be boorish, not to mention tedious. I am rather tired of scolding you. So instead, I think I will content myself with loving you. What? You thought in your death the mermaid was the only one who would be able to cosset you. I know I have said this before, but you really are naive. You cannot escape me, even if you are at the bottom of the deepest, darkest ocean. The world might have forsaken you, but I never will. I will never leave you. You will never be lonely again. Alrighty. That's our third bad end. Time to fight against our fate. Yet again. Ah, I like that look on your face. It is a look full of determination. The self-same determination which first prompted me to take an interest in you. Here goes. Oh, good. I can tell that you are not happy with this ending. You did not come all of this way, after all, to drown. That is quite the indecorous demise, regardless of how many fine stones and shells the mermaid means to twine through your hair after your death. If you wish to carve out a new story for yourself, then I would be only too happy to oblige you. Just try not to get on the bad side. Or good side of any homicidal naiads this time. The drowning of fair maidens is something of a cliché. Your fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Give up. So, you've come back here, have you? That does not come as much as a surprise. Though presented with 3 potential paths, it is not as though traversing any of them would have any particular impact upon your ultimate fate. In the end, you were always destined to return here. Did you really think you had a choice? How hopelessly naive of you. I thought that you were smarter than that. Your breath, which once escaped your lips in sharp, ragged gasps, is now on the verge of petering out altogether. Your lungs feel deflated, as though they have been punctured. Your blood is rushing through your temples in a heady, overwhelming surge. Your stomach, meanwhile, has twisted itself up into knots. Oh, hello, heartbeat. It's been a while. Your body feels heavy. Your legs in particular. They no longer wish to obey you. You take a stumbling step forwards and your foot gets caught in a tree root. You are certain that you passed this route once already and that you sidestepped it. But perhaps your memory is beginning to fail you, just like the rest of your body. You gasp, surprised, and pitch forwards, dull and senseless like a sack full of potatoes. Your arm hits the ground with a crack, one which makes you cry out in pain. Tears begin to bead on your... the achievement. Yeah, it's good! Wet and salty, tears which you cannot stymie. You are not as resilient as the gravedigger, nor as carefree as the princess. If you lived underwater like the mermaid, then nobody at the very least would be able to tell that you are crying, but you do not. And I can. Believe me, I can. Your arm aches dreadfully, but at least you can still feel it. Your poor feet, meanwhile, have gone quite numb. You would try to stand had you the energy, but you know, as you sit there dazed, this would be a futile effort. You cannot stand. Not any longer. It hurts too much. And you really have been through a lot tonight, haven't you? I fear I have not been very kind to you. But you ought to be accustomed to hardship. Why then are you crying? You always have been a crybaby. That is why they teased you so much. It is because they knew they would be guaranteed a reaction. You are very predictable. Even now, after you tried to borrow my power for your own purposes, you have not changed at all. As you sit there sobbing, you hear, or think you can hear, footsteps approaching you. There, to your right, is the snapping of a twig. To your left, the telltale rustle of leaves. Your every sense feels razor sharp, honed to a knife's point by anxiety. You are so panicked you feel as though you are going to break. If you want to vomit, then why not? There is no shame in it. There's nobody here to judge you. Nobody but me. I have always been here, you know. I will always be here, no matter how fast you try to run or how far. Did you really think you could escape me? Poor sweet child. Poor little fool. I did tell you, did I not? A contract with a witch is binding. No amount of physical distance between the both of us could ever sever it. I told you I would never let you be lonely. And I meant it. Such a good follow-through on the rest of the game. Yes, good shit. But I've had rather enough of these little games. It is time for me to collect my collateral. Hi! Hello! Hi! Hello! Hi! 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 Did I say hello? Hi. A soft gasp escapes your throat as you feel arms wind their way about your back. Naturally, you know whose arms they are. They are mine. I have been watching you all night, but this is the first time I've reached out to you in so direct a manner. Did you not expect me to be so forward? I can hear your heart fluttering in your chest. It is beating very quickly, like a startled rabbit's. Your breaths are short and sharp. It is a cold night, and though I am holding you, you are still shaking. I wish you would not tremble so. Everybody fears the unknown, but we are not strangers. We have spoken before, have we not? When you first called me forth from the ether, using that book you found in the library. You were desperate enough then to turn to the occult for help. You pleaded with me to use my magic for your behalf. You begged me. You implored and you entreated and you wheedled and you whined, and though I had some reservations, you forced my hand. I had no choice, not in the face of your desperation. You did not want to be lonely anymore. You're normal? Like we're all normal today, Moth. You wanted to have a friend. Somebody who would always be there for you, no matter what. You wanted somebody to love you. Is that not what you demanded of me? Is that not what I have given you? You might think me wicked, but I think you are being awfully cruel yourself. To run from me after I made all of your wishes come true. I did think, you know, about punishing you for running away from me. I thought of poking out your eyes so that you might never see anybody other than me. I thought of cutting off your long, lovely hair so that nobody might ever think you beautiful but me. I thought of breaking your legs so that you might never be able to escape from me. I turned all of these intriguing ideas over in my mind, but I am a merciful witch. Though you hurt me, I did not wish to hurt you. You asked, after all, that I love you, and that is what I did. I have drowned you in my love. I have buried you beneath my love. I have swallowed you with my love. You have always been a sad, lonely girl, one who has been starved of affection. Nobody has ever cared for you. Your life has been a barren, empty wasteland, one devoid of any fonder feelings. That is why I had to drown you, you see. That is why I had to bury you. It is why I had to swallow you. In the end, I was doing you a favor. I was doing it all for you. In that sense, you are very lucky. Do you know that? There are few people in the world who have had the privilege of being loved to the brink of insanity quite this many times in one night. There are few people in the world who can claim to have been loved by a witch. You have experienced so much love it ought to have slaked even your unquenchable thirst. You know now what it feels like to be adored. I have more than upheld my end of the bargain. Now I think it is time that you do the same. From this night forth, you and I will always be together. Then I shall be able to love you endlessly. You will never be lonely again. Okay, cool. Is that it? Check achievements. I'm sure, yeah, because I know that's not everything. There's still more. Okay, I see. I see, I see, I see. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Here. We're not done. You are running through a forest. But this shouldn't come as a surprise to you. You've been here before, haven't you? It is beginning to feel like you have been running for a long, long time. But the sun, despite the overwhelming weariness with which assails your legs, has yet to rise. Why, I wonder, could that be? You are sure as you run that you have seen this all already. You have seen the fractal pattern of the moon's milky glow as it spills on the uneven forest floor. It's already the love music from the routes. Yeah, let's go. And the trees which jut out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god. You have seen wicked brambles which sought to ensnare you, and I might add, succeeded. And tree roots, hooked like the choppy fingers of witches far older than I, which sought to trip you. You have cut your feet. You have torn your skirt. You have taken numerous paths, yet they all ended in failure. Once you had hope. Now it is gone. You have already given in to me. So why are you still running? Silly girl. Did you really think you could escape from me after all I've subjected you to already? There is no use trying to escape from my embrace. And if I may be so bold, I am hurt that you would even attempt it. Were you not happy with me? I was happy with you. But no matter. You are a stubborn little chit, and perhaps you think that things will be different this time around. That is why you began to run. I can see, despite the fear in your eyes, that your resolve has not burnt out. Not just yet. A spark of it still remains. A spark that I mean to extinguish for good. It is pointless, you know, trying to escape from a witch's curse. In this forest of phantasmagoria, constructed from my own powers, I am a creator goddess. Mother Earth, if you will. You'll be shush, but just let you know if I need any info? Okay, thank you. It does not matter how quickly you run, trampling the tall grass and the loose leaves and ugly spotted mushrooms underfoot. Somehow the normal girl hours does not make you believe that it is in fact normal girl hours? I don't know what you're talking about. Hi, fan. I still have you right where I want you, in the palm of my hand. I will not let you get away that easily. But very well. If you insist on playing this little game, then I will indulge you. I will play along. We can do this all over again. Now, where were we? Oh yes. You are still running through a forest. It is late at night and the sky is black as pitch. There is nothing to light your way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you. Not properly. The trees which surround you, jutting out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. Out of curiosity, save at some point? Oh. Interesting. You cannot see where you are going. Even if you had commenced your flight at a more sensible hour, though, with the light of the sun to aid you, it would be of little use. It didn't need those saves, right? Probably not. You do not know where you are going. You have no map, no route, no plan. You are running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy, with no destination in mind. None beyond the almost overwhelming impetus to escape. You cannot let yourself be caught. Oh, it is too late, I suppose, for that. You have no choice, therefore, but to keep going. On and on, though your feet are screaming at you for mercy. You run until at long last you reach a fork in the road. There are 3 paths which split off through the forest. Well, 4 if you count the path down which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though. Why would you? You've put all that effort, after all, into running forwards, not just once, but twice. I doubt you mean to confront me. How can you when you are so very afraid? I can hear your teeth chattering you now. I can see your legs trembling. Your fear rolls off you in waves more potent than any perfume. Your anxiety is truly staggering. It is a wonder, really, how you are able to keep putting one foot in front of the other. You will keep putting your feet in front of the other, though, no matter which decision you make. You will not turn back. How could you? You are far too cowardly. Now, the 3 paths are signposted as well you know, which would be a strange sight given you are so deep in the forest. But you ought to be used to strange sights by now. It is dark, but that does not matter. You have seen this signpost before, and you know full well where each path will lead you. I would say that your fate is in your hands, but you and I both know that is incorrect. Your fate is, and always has been, mine to manipulate. Must we really go through this rigmarole again? You won't discover anything new, you know. The mermaid, the gravedigger, and the princess will not deviate from the scripts which have already been prepared for them. I did not, in all honesty, think to furnish any further responses for them. I did not think you would be seeing them again. But no matter. If this is what you want, I shall provide it for you. Go ahead. Throw your life away, again and again and again. Be drowned by love. Be buried by love. Be consumed by love. Then when you have had enough and you can no longer stand, submit yourself once again to my embrace. And let yourself experience the love as precious few humans have ever before had the misfortune of experiencing. Interesting. Okay. What do you want me to do, game? What if I just... We zooming. Oh. Oh, okay. That is remarkable, given this is the second time you've been pulled beneath the ocean's surface. I would have thought you'd want to give up by now. But no matter. You really are stubborn. I cannot promise a better fate than this awaits you, regardless of what you might choose, but I'm willing to indulge you. Let us go back to the beginning once again. Your fate is in your hands. At least that is what you once thought. You and I both know, however, that this was never the case. Not now that you belong to me. How much longer can you keep resisting, though? I cannot wait to find out. Time to get buried. Hi, Gravedigger, I love you. My, this is certainly unexpected. I had rather thought, after everything you've been subjected to, you would no longer wish to continue this farce. I was fully prepared for you to forfeit yourself at long last to my loving embrace. I am ready to embrace you should you so desire it, and cradle you within my unassailable affection. Princess is really good as a thing. Princess is really good. But it seems you are not ready to submit. Not quite yet. Being buried alive twice over has not been enough to diminish your determination. You still wish to fight against me, as if you have any hope of succeeding. Your efforts are all futile, do you not know that? I am far, far stronger than a skinny human like yourself could ever begin to contemplate. You would be better served if you gave in. Perhaps I have not loved you effusively enough, not just yet. If you are to learn anything, I must first beat it into your thick skull of yours. Will you listen to me then? I only want what is best for you, you know. Hurting you hurts me too. But if that is what you want, so be it. Let us go back to the beginning once again. Your fate is in your hands. At least that is what you might think. You still belong to me, and I will never let you forget that. Continue to struggle. Do your very best. It will not work. But it should be entertaining if nothing else. Narrator getting a little grumpy? A little bit. Hi, princess. Hi again, princess. High-speed princess movement. Oh, you wish to keep going, do you? That is impressive, given this is the second time you've been devoured so heartily. Of all the demises you've experienced, this one is the most gruesome. Ojo-sama approaching at breakneck speeds. If you are tired of these repetitions, I would understand. I am not the wicked witch you might think I am, and I would be willing to show you mercy should you want it. But I can tell that you do not want it. Goodness me, you are stubborn. Why, I ask you, do you continue to fight? There is no escape for you, you know. I will never let you leave, no matter how you struggle. But very well. Let us go back to the beginning once again. Your fate is in your hands, or so I once told you. You ought to know now, however, that this was never truly the case. You still belong to me. I am not going to let you get away from me. Not that easily. You can struggle as much as you want, but it will be in vain. It does not matter where you go. I will always find you. I can promise you that much. Alrighty. Give up? Question mark. Oh, damn. Okay. We have an ad break starting very soon. I'm gonna BRB real quick and refill my water, and then we will continue onwards. So sit tight. We'll be back very shortly. I'm back, chat. You didn't get too lonely, did you? Let's continue. There, you see? Are you happy now? I told you that there was no use in repeating this night, yet you failed to listen. You have been drowned, buried, and consumed once more, and for what? Do you feel as though you have made any progress in your attempts to escape from me? Once again, you find yourself as you were at the end of your last foray into my forest full of nightmares. You are kneeling upon the ground, your feet aching. Perhaps they are bleeding, and your skirt tattered and torn. You try to inhale, but it hurts. It feels as though your lungs have been punctured by a pair of embroidery scissors. When you swallow, you can taste salt upon your tongue. You blink, but it is so very dark in these woods you fear you cannot see. There's a heavy, leaden weight upon your shoulders. It feels as though somebody is shoveling soil upon you. Your body is cold, so it has been sapped of all warmth. Your blood, which ought to flow through your veins, feels as though it is frozen. That, or it has been purged from your body altogether in rust-red gobbets. Have you not had enough of this now, silly thing? I am saying this for your sake, you know, just as much as I am mine. Though I might have trapped you, hence I did it— Hello, Janata, welcome. I did it only because I care for you. I want only for you to realize the folly of your ways. Now cease your foolish attempts to escape. It will accomplish nothing save stretching your mind beyond its limitations. It has already, I fear, been stretched thin already. Enjoy your lurk and enjoy your lunch. Humans are not designed to die, not as incessantly as you have. One death would be enough to finish most of your kind off, yet you have endured 6 of them. You do not want to go through that again, do you? Then do not run from me. Let me console you. Let me embrace you. Let me love you. What do you say to that? Cat got your tongue? Well, no matter. You will not need your tongue to speak while we are together. It is an unnecessary appendage, however much you might wish one day to whisper sweet nothings to me. I am an all-powerful witch after all, and I can hear all of your thoughts. I know what you are thinking. Yes, that is right. Silence is golden, as they say. You do not need to speak. You do not need to blink. You do not even need to breathe. Now that you are finally mine, I will cut off your tongue, and I will pluck out your pretty little eyes, and I will— I beg your pardon. What was that, dear one? Let's go! I said no. I am not your dear one. I never wanted this. What? You would defy me still after all you have endured? Were 6 deaths not enough for you, you gluttonous girl? Do you wish for more? I just wished for a friend. I didn't want to be lonely. But you ensnared me. You tricked me. Well, I never. What bold accusations. They are not true, though, you know. They are bald-faced lies. I did nothing of the sort. My name might begin in a similar fashion, but I am no Mephistopheles. I was very upfront when first we met. I said, if you wish to make a contract with me, it would cost you. It is your own fault that you did not listen. You accepted my terms, and now you are paying the price. Now, if you will come with me, my dear— I am not your dear. Really now? This has all become rather tiresome. I must insist that you cease this childish outburst at once, or else— Or else what? Will you cut off my tongue? Will you pluck out my eyes? You already stole my name, but it's coming back to me. What? No, that should be impossible. You gave your name to me. You gave your soul to me. You pledged your heart and your body to me, and now And now I want them back. I'm tired of these games too. Medea. You. Remembering my name? I do now. You're called Medea and I... No. Stop it. I'm called Rosette. Can't be. I knew you were stubborn, but... I learned how to be stubborn. I'm used to being bullied. You're just like the others. I'm not afraid of you anymore. You took everything from me. And now I'm taking it back. No, you can't. Rosette, please. Don't go. Don't leave me. We made a contract, you and I. You said that you wanted a friend, and I promised to be that friend. You die 6 times and miraculously come back to life. You get some damn clarity. This is true. I promised that I would always be there for you. Do you really mean to abandon me? That was the general idea. And what of me? What am I supposed to do? You. You can rot for all I care. What? No, Rosette. I call after your retreating back, but you do not heed my words. You do not turn your head. Love the use of the dialogue choice buttons. It's so good. Ah, fantastic. Once it was you who knelt in the dirt, your clothes tattered and torn, your dignity alongside it. You were so vulnerable then. And you were so very, very beautiful. In a perverse way, however, I think you might look even more beautiful now that you are walking away from me. That is the thing you humans say, is it not? You never realize just how much you value something until you no longer have it. It does not hold true in my case, however. I knew you were a precious find when first you summoned me. Your fiery determination, even in the face of extreme hardship, endeared you to me. I thought you very noble, really. How you had survived for so long in an environment which was so very hostile. For a human, I thought you remarkable. That is why I decided to form a contract with you. I thought, with a human like you by my side, my own life of empty, endless wandering might not be so... lonely. Goodness me. I must be growing sentimental in my old age. Now you are not the one upon the ground. It is I. Maybe you should learn how to treat people, Medea. Maybe. I could keep calling for you, but I know it would do no good. You will not turn back for me now. Not when I have caused you so much suffering. I did not mean to hurt you so, though. I truly did love you. Albeit in my own way. In the end, however, I suppose the love of a witch was too much even for you to endure. Now there is nothing but the milky moonlight and the trees which jut out of the earth about me. They look like monuments built in the honor of a foreign god. They look like nothing from the world that you knew, Rosette. Because they are not of your world. They are of mine. Now you have fled from me, like a bird let loose from its cage. I fear I will never see you again. I will be on my own in this forest for all of eternity. Or until another silly little girl with stars in her eyes and dreams in her heart summons me once more. It has happened a handful of times in the past. It might one day happen again. Until that day, however, I will lie here among the foliage and the fog, and I will close my eyes. I will let myself dream. And enrobed in the undulating mist, I shall think to myself, It gets so lonely here. Holy shit. That was such a good game. Yeah, no, fantastic game. I am technically not done, okay? Very short, but start again, okay. Oh, that's true, there are still some achievements, huh? Oh, shit. I am sitting in a forest. It is late at night and the sky is as black as pitch. There is nothing to light my way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach me. Not properly. The trees which surround me, jutting out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. If I were running, I would not be able to see where I was going. But such concerns are trivial to me. There is nowhere, after all, for me to run to. I am all alone. You have abandoned me. You made a contract with me once when you wished for a friend. It was a contract I swore I would fulfill upon my good name. But you betrayed me. Oh, Rosette. Why did you have to go? My days were intolerably dull and tedious without you to amuse me. Your company slaked my boredom nicely. But now that you have gone, that boredom has returned fourfold. It is so consuming, I fear I might go mad from it. If I have not, granted, gone mad already. If only there was another mortal out there. One who might keep me company. If only. Oh? Perhaps I spoke too soon. It would seem that another has intruded upon my moonlit solitude after all. Far more quickly than I was expecting. How very fortuitous. Well met, stranger. Does the moon not look beautiful tonight? Why, it is almost as if our encounter were preordained by a being far greater than the both of us. But that, of course, is a foolish thought. There are few beings out there more powerful than myself. Now then, would you care to create a contract with me and relieve the events of this night anew? Oh, okay. Oh? Do you not wish to stay with me, dear one? Very well. You are awfully cruel, but I can understand how you feel. I'm a benevolent witch, regardless of what some people might say. And I would never force you to do anything. Not against your will. My love is, and always has been, reciprocal in nature. Though she did not appreciate that. Now, if that is all, would you like to run along? No good can come, you know, of soliciting with witches in the dead of night. You had best be on your way, and quickly. Otherwise, I might just change my mind. After all, it gets so lonely here. That is 100%. That is the game done. Hey, hear me out, chat. I could fix her. I believe in you, Moth. I believe in you. I could not fix her, but whatever's wrong with her is fun enough that you know, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I don't need her. Maybe I don't need to fix her. Maybe she could make me worse. That's the thing. What is fun is if you do make the contract, it crashes the game. Oh, good. Yeah, I figured... At that point, I looked back over at the achievement list, and I saw the final achievement as It Gets So Lonely Here, and I'm like, yeah, there's one way to force her to say that again. And it is by spurning her a final time. Oh, okay. Well, everyone. That was It Gets So Lonely Here. Thank you for joining me on our two-part excursion into this game, because it was so good. I'm definitely gonna have to play more of Ebby's stuff in the future. I don't know that I'm gonna stream more of Ebby's stuff in the future, just because visual novels are hard on my voice a lot of the time, but I'm gonna play more, that is for damn sure, because these were real good. Thank you all for coming out today. We're gonna be back on Friday morning with what are we doing Friday? We're doing Sunhaven Friday. That's what we're doing. Thank you all. Let me see who's online that we can toss a raid over to. Oops, is online. Okay. We'll have to like need a little bit of a vibe change. Okay, we're gonna go say hi to Lupina because she is playing some Baldur's Gate 3. And that should be a nice change of pace. Actually, one sec. She might be wrapping up. Okay. It's okay. We can sit here with the title screen music from It Gets So Lonely Here for a little longer, because it's great. I love it very much. Thank you for the raid message, Lena. Okay. We're gonna go say hi to... Oh, Vorp is on. We'll go say hi to Vorp, because she's great. Looks like she's doing some... She's played some Rhythm games. So we're gonna go say hi to Vorp. Alrighty, let me get that built. Vorp VT. Did I do it? I did it. Okay. I will see some of y'all Friday for Sunhaven. Until then, I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. And as always, until I see you again, best of luck.